So this is sort of a quick bookend to our Iran story. It appears that Eric Trump, Donald Trump's son, knew in advance about the assassination that was carried out illegally without congressional approval of the Iranian Kuds leader, Qassim Soleimani. Of course, the assassination took place on January 2nd, 2020, but just a couple of days prior, in the last 12 hours, really the last 8, 9 hours of 2019, on December 31st, Eric Trump tweeted, quote, "Bout to open up a big old can of whoop ass. Hashtag don't mess with the best. Hashtag USA, USA, USA." This is believed now, in retrospect, to be a clear reference to knowledge that Eric Trump had of the upcoming unauthorized assassination by the Trump administration of Iranian Kuds leader Qassim Soleimani. Now, Eric Trump, since this came to light that, wait a second, a whole bunch of people who should have been briefed weren't briefed. How did Eric Trump know about this? Eric Trump has since deleted the tweet because it became clear that Donald Trump did not seek congressional authorization. The assassination is likely illegal. Congress didn't know. And it seems that Donald Trump's son, unelected, not a government employee, doesn't have the clearance to know about this. It seems that Eric Trump knew about this in advance. Here's a quote from Heather Cox Richardson, a historian who's been covering this, who said, quote, "Apparently the Gang of Eight was not briefed. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer was not told, although McConnell's spokesman refused to comment on whether or not he, meaning McConnell, was briefed." And she goes on to say, Eric Trump, who holds no security clearance, might have been briefed. On December 31st, he tweeted, "Bout to open up a big old can of whoop ass." The tweet has now been deleted. I will actually go even further. Now, with the 2020 hindsight, knowing what took place in Iraq over the last 24 hours, a couple of weeks ago, December 18th, it was reported that 5 top Pentagon officials had resigned in a 7-day period. It was weird at the time. We didn't know, 5 top Pentagon officials resigning in 7 days doesn't really make sense. The idea now that we are increasingly thinking is the explanation for this is that the plan was starting to develop at that point in time, in the second half, early in the second half of December. These 5 key Pentagon officials were against this completely immoral, arguably illegal assassination, and that they resigned. Will we ever know the full truth of who knew when and why they resigned and the lack of proper handling of sensitive information here? Probably not, but this stinks to high heaven as usual. It seems that Donald Trump is being totally careless with his handling of sensitive information, if indeed his son Eric Trump knew in advance about what was going on. And then, of course, there is the political side of Donald Trump for years saying, hey, Barack Obama, you need congressional approval. The president can't do this. The president can't strike there without congressional approval. Donald Trump letting Eric Trump know, but not letting the Gang of Eight know, not letting congressional leadership know, not actually going and seeking approval for doing this. It's projection. It's backwards. It's all a tactic to try to get himself reelected in 2020. And it really pains me to say it, but it might work. It might work. If the last 3 years of observing how Trumpists have been successfully propagandized to and gaslit willingly to try to placate their cognitive dissonance with Donald Trump, if that's any indication, this may actually work, and we are increasingly driving towards war with Iran. It was Hillary, remember. It was Hillary that was going to get us into wars, into military conflicts, unauthorized, erratic, bloodthirsty. Seems like that was all projection. Let me know what you think. It is these are scary and depressing times. Leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube, or send me a tweet on Twitter @DPakman. We'll take a break. Much to discuss on today's program.